Okay, we're here with Mrs. Lynn and the carburetor for the 630 Jonsered, and we're gonna let Mrs. Lynn pop the tops off and pull the diaphragms and see what it looks like on the inside. So go ahead, honey. I'm gonna pop the non-pump side first. I don't know what carburetor it is. It's a Tilly. I don't know what model or anything. It's got a date underneath. It says 1963, so really old maybe? Or maybe that's a number. I'm not sure. Got our rubber pad here. Nice and clean. I already blew the carburetor off with brake clean and compressed air. And pretty dirty. Where the fuel comes in. That's the fuel inlet. Right there. This side. That's where the fuel comes in. So that's usually going to be dirty. Especially if you got a bad fuel filter. And then on these carburetors, saving the gaskets, I have this X-Acto knife. Pull that out, honey. There. I got this X-Acto knife with this flat, it's like a bill. But it works really good for getting these diaphragms off without tearing them. Just go nice and slow, and I'm usually able to save them, even though most of the time I gotta get a carb kit anyway, so it's pointless, but yeah, a little patience in that sweet X-Acto knife. It works good. And it's always going to be harder around where you see, where it pinches these lines. It's always going to be harder to peel it and around the bolt holes because, well, that's where you have all your pressure sealing. And then Mrs. Lynn, she's just holding that nice and flat and just going really slow. She needs to know how to do this for her 385. Even though it's got a Chinese carburetor on it, but we'll fix that one day. And pop goes a weasel. How's it feel? Don't feel too bad. And then you could usually tell by the way it looks on the inside what kind of fuel they're running. So this probably had clear gas in it before he let it set. And then the screen's pretty well, that thing's plugged. You see that? See how plugged that is? Mm-hmm. Can you scrape that out of there? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Do that in front of the phone. Oh, snap, son. That's gross. Holy shit. Okay. Alright. Well, so glad we pulled that one off then. Let's pull the other side off, babe. And then in this one, you can actually, through the top, I can tell that the diaphragm, it's not too stiff. It might be a little stiff, but it still moves. So, I think, regardless, it's going to get a carb kit in it. But. Okay. You might have to use this pick to pop that metal part off. How's it look? In front of the phone, lady. Oh, yeah. Pretty clean in there, actually. See, the diaphragm moves pretty good, really. It's actually soft. Okay. So, and then we'll do the same thing. We might spare you this, but we're going to do the same thing. We're going to peel the diaphragm off, and then we're going to peel the gasket off. For now, let's pull the needle with that little, you know? Okay. I think she's done this before, but here, let's get a different. You got it? Be careful doing this. Don't lose the spring. Don't lose the needle. Always take a carb apart on a nice clean surface. And I like this rubber mat. That's kind of sticky. How's the needle look? Is it dirty? Oop. Just flip it over, babe. It should fall out. Look at the tip of it. See gunk on it? No? Looks pretty good. The tip looks clean. And then, but the tip, it's pretty gooey. So this needle might not see all the way. That might be hard to see, but these tips should be pretty rigid. There you go. And I can push that around with ease. So that needle may be bad. That could be part of the when it gets hot. Maybe it's killing itself by flooding out or something. We're still recording, don't you worry, lady. Still looks pretty good in there. So, and then the next step I do is I will pull the high and the low jet out to clean those circuits also. So before you pull them out, it's usually a good idea to see where they're set at, just so you know. So we're gonna do the low first. So that's half, 1, half, maybe a 16th. So it was about 1.5 out. Oh no, there's a little more. About 1 3/4 out. So that's pretty good setting for the low. A little fat probably, actually. So now that we know, we'll pull this out. Don't mix the needles up. Usually it's obvious what one is what, but not always. And make sure you know what one is the low and what one is the high. Okay, so now we're going to do the high. That's about right there. Half. Oh, wow. A half turn out for the high. I don't know if somebody didn't know what they were doing. That's crazy. That's not good. That's not good adjustment. The low is too fat and the high way too lean. So here's the difference in the needles. Here's the high. It's more of a taper, right? Here's your low. It's a really small taper. Pretty obvious. And honestly, I don't know if you could screw the low into the high, but you could screw the high into the low. So just pay attention to what the hell you're doing. That's all I'm saying. But now that we have those out, then I'll take my air compressor and just blow through all the holes, all the circuits, and the carb kit might replace that screen, but most of the time you can blow them out or clean them with brake clean. But so that's about as far as we're gonna go with this till I get a carb kit, but look pretty good on the inside, really. And thanks to our lovely assistant, Mrs. Lynn. Oh, look at this. Eating. Okay. Thanks for watching her take this apart.